Krishna. Welcome you all for our e-Gurukula sessions. And today is Thursday. We have a Krishna Lila discussions. So, what is the difference when Krishna performs Lila? Krishna performs some acts, and then the ordinary human he performs some acts. Right? What is the difference? Like, let's say Krishna jumped from the mountains. Krishna killed many demons. Krishna lifted the mountains. And we see some ordinary mortal also doing some kind of acts. What is
the ordinary ones after hard for one time it will get old, but Krishna's pastimes it will get newer and newer.
Very nice. Same point was there in the mind to bring out. Yeah. First and most important difference is, right? Nobody can compare the Krishna's act. We watch in the movies, they show some hero or some heroines are performing some acts. They're all simply made. It's not a reality. It's made look like a reality, but it's all effects, visual effects. That's all, nothing reality. But Krishna's pastimes are the real effects. When he performs, they're real. They're actually been performed. So the living entity, what he does, he also wants to emit Krishna. So he also tries what Krishna has done. He also wants to try out, and that's where the whole problem comes. And that's where another interesting thing our Shubham Pro was adding. Right? Once you watch some heroes act, once or twice you'll watch. Later it will get bored. What is this? I know things. It won't give any more entertainment or enlightenment. Is a far off thing only. But when Krishna's Leelas, when we read, although I'm sure every one of you know about all the Krishna book episodes, but still we're reading continuously, regularly we hear, still it looks so fresh because Krishna is always fresh. Krishna never becomes old. Old age is not there with Krishna. Krishna is always ever fresh, and his pastimes, his leelas are also ever fresh. So that's why it is for our own good purpose we invest in the Krishna Leela discussion, so that then we can really bring out something good for our lives, and then have the permanent effects, not the temporary boring effects of the modern people what they do. Let us begin with the prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Shri Vishakanitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtari Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauraptushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So let's begin our chapter 52, reading from the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Continuation of this chapter, Krishna, the Ranchor. Rana, run. This na below there is a dot, right? So it should be pronounced like Krishna, Rana, Ranachor. So, and should be given a little longer pronunciation. So after Muchukunda's settlement in the Badrikashram, where the abode of Naranarayan is there, in the Gandhamadana mountain. So that what Krishna does now, let's see. Lord Krishna returned to the vicinity of Mathura, where he fought with the soldiers of Kalayavana and killed them one after another. After this, he collected all the booty from the dead bodies, and under his direction, it was loaded on a bullock carts and brought back to Dwarka. So, right, so scene was what all of you know, right? That's why below it is written Jarasanda. Jarasanda had attacked on one side, Kalyavana had attacked on other side. So Krishna made Dwarka arrangement and shifted all the Mathura people and asked Balramji to go there. So then, and then to divert Kalyavana, Krishna started going away from the battle. So then the Kalyavana was chasing, and there Kalyavana got killed. And here Jarasandha could not face Krishna. Now Jarasanda's turn comes. Meanwhile, Jarasan again attacked Mathura, this time with the bigger divisions of soldiers numbering 23 Akshahums. So can somebody recall why Krishna did not kill Jarasandha in the first attempt only? All of you remember we were reading Jarasanda's episode. Krishna killed one by one all the soldiers of Jarasandha, but he did not kill Jarasandha. Then again second time, again third time. So this was, I think it was the 17th time, and now this is, I think, yeah, this is 17th time, I think so. This is 18th, it is written.
Guruji, can I tell?
Okay, yeah, yes.
Prabhuji, this Krishna didn't kill Jarasandha because Jarasandha was father-in-law of for Kamsa, and if Krishna kills him, the which city, the town he rules will be fearful.
Oh, no. From where you heard these things? 1 week from? Which book you are reading? Or you are guessing? No. Yeah, our some other devotees have written in the chat. Yeah, your guesswork is correct, but we should not guess until and nobody knows exactly. Or we should say, Prabhu, I guess it might be like this. Right. So we have to say the as it is exact reasons. Your attempt is nice, but that's not the correct. Our devotees have given the answers. Already Prabhupada is writing here. Lord Krishna wanted to save Mathura from the 18th attack of the great military divisions of King Jarasandha. So what was a Krishna's plan? Krishna's main purpose of coming to this planet is, as Mother Earth had prayed, there's so many demons have been overburdened on the planet Earth, right? So now, to reduce the burden, Jarasandha is doing a good work. He's going and bringing all these demoniac people with him to fight against Krishna and Balram. So Krishna thought, okay, good. I'll kill all his soldiers. Let him go back. Then again, he will bring another set of soldiers, huge number. Those are like a demoniac minded. So that was becoming easy for Krishna. So that was one of the main reason why Krishna did not kill Jarasandha in the first book. Clear na, Manvik Pro?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so Krishna is a smart worker. Krishna knows exactly. Two in one. Right. Two things at a time it is. Yeah. So to prevent further killing of the soldiers and to attend to the to other important business, Lord Krishna left the battlefield without fighting. Actually, he was not at all afraid, but he pretended to be an ordinary human being, frightened by the immense quantity of soldiers and resources of Jarasanda. So he pretended, okay, Krishna is never fearful. He gives abhaya to others. He offers abhaya to others. So how can we? Krishna has run out of fear. So, but then to just to show, without any weapons, Krishna left the battlefield. So I think once again we'll read. Yeah. To prevent further killing of soldiers and to attend to the other important business. So that other important business is not mentioned here, which is a secret, which is going to come now. Lord Krishna left the battlefield without fighting. So, yeah, actually he was not at all afraid, but he pretended as an, yeah. Anybody knows, by the way, what is that other important business Krishna has to attend?
Don't know, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Anybody knows? Okay, we'll read. Nobody knows, then that's a good suspense. Krishna has to attend some other important business. So, are you ready? We'll see now. Yeah, here it has been mentioned. Without any weapons, Krishna left the battlefield. Although his lotus feet were as soft as the petals of a lotus flower, he proceeded for a very long distance on foot. This time, Jarasanda thought that Krishna and Balaram were very much afraid of his military strength and were fleeing the battlefield. He followed them with all his chariots, horses, and infantry. He thought Krishna and Balaram to be ordinary human beings, and he was trying to measure the activities of the Lord. Due to this pastime, Krishna is known as Ranachor, which means one who has left the battlefield. In India, especially in Gujarat, there are many temples of Krishna known as temples of Ranachorji. Ordinarily, if a king leaves the battlefield without fighting, he is called a coward. But when Krishna enacts this pastime, leaving the battlefield without fighting, he is worshipped by the devotees. Right? That's what yesterday we saw, right? Krishna so-called breaking the laws also is a glorified. So can some of you give some example? Yesterday I said you. Krishna broke the law as per the normal Kshatriya, right? Running away from the battle. But he's been worshipped for this act. Which other example I told yesterday? Who remembered yesterday's?
Prabhuji,
Putana, what's the wrong in that? What law Krishna broke in that? She was a demon and Krishna killed her, demoness. I am asking, morally it is not right. Like Krishna running from the battle as per the laws of Kshatriya conduct, it's not a right thing. Krishna did that, but Krishna is glorified for that. Something else, what Krishna did, which is morally not correct, not right. We should not do those things. But because Krishna did that, he is glorified for that. Yesterday I gave 2-3 examples. I think. No one remembers? What other act Krishna did, which as a human...
Stealing the clothes of gopis.
Right? He stole the clothes of the gopis. Right now, somebody does anything, says anything, comments anything against with the girls and all as a boys, then it is very, very deadly, right? They will be immediately taken action. They will be immediately done that. It's not a right act. And what to speak of stealing the clothes of the gopis and all? That's even more ethically not at all correct. So, but then Krishna did, and then it has been glorified. That's the most. Today also you go to Vrindavan, that tree is there. I think what is that place called? A Chirghat, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, Krishna performed Rasa Lila. Krishna danced with the wives of others. So these acts have been glorified. One more act I told you yesterday. Yes. Krishna stole the butter. Krishna went to the other home and Krishna stole. It's not a right thing, na? You ask from your mother and eat, but stealing other things is not a right thing. But Krishna is, for that, Krishna is known as what? Krishna is worshipped as
Makan.
Mahakansaur. So that's why we have to understand. Many times people will question, are you worship Krishna? Even one so-called politician of India, he also said, oh, if Krishna is a god who has danced with the wives of other men, then I don't worship that Krishna. So, because he's a narrow-mindedness. They don't know who Krishna is and they don't know what is the meaning of Rasa Lila. Rasa Lila conversation took place between a Shukadeva Goswami, narrated by Shukadeva Goswami and King Parikshit. And who are these two personalities to discuss these topics? Shukadeva Goswami, in a womb only, in a mother's womb only, he was Brahman realized. Right? Now, in the womb, first of all, child doesn't know anything. He's completely caught up. He simply cries. He doesn't understand. But Shukadeva Goswami was Brahman realized in the womb of his mother. And Parikshit Maharaj, what happened when he was in the womb?
Well, you saw Krishna.
He saw Krishna right inside the womb. Krishna personally came. Recently, I was hearing Ashwatthama released the 6 arrows, 6 Brahmastras, 5 for the Pandavas, 1 for that womb. So Krishna nullified 5 Brahmastras for the 5 Pandavas, but the 6th one he did not nullify. He personally took the club and disc in his hand, entered into the womb, and took efforts of fighting against that Brahmastra. Because why? He wanted to give the darshan to Parikshit. Because it was a time now, Krishna and Pandavas are going to leave. So he wanted to give the darshan to Parikshit. So Krishna took a personal act entering inside the womb. So these personalities, they are discussing these episodes. So we should understand these are not the ordinary topics. These are extraordinary topics. But then when we mortal try to understand with our tiny brain, then it is a foolishness. And that's what instead of when we study these episodes, that purifies our heart. But then if you don't understand these episodes in a right manner and hear from any bogus people outside the world, it will worsen our heart. It will make our disease of heart, lust, even more to increase. So that's why it's very much important to glorify Krishna's greatness first. Till the time we are thoroughly convinced and thoroughly dedicated that how Krishna is such a great. Although he is running away from the battle, the ordinary people like Jarasanda and all, they are considering like he is a coward. He's ordinary humans running away because they're considering Krishna to be ordinary man. Same thing modern time we see people, they consider Krishna ordinary man. They also dance with other women. They think Krishna did, so we're doing that. It's a foolishness. So that's why Prabhupada is writing that point. A demon always tries to measure the opulence of Krishna, whereas a devotee never tries to measure his strength and opulence, but always surrenders unto him and worships him. So doubts are welcome. We're not saying that to accept blindly the things, but then we should not conclude with our own narrow-mindedness. Anybody knows the story? Prabhupada says very interesting story. How people think as a narrow-mindedness. They don't understand the bigger picture. Just like very famous story. All of you will be knowing that story. Very nice. Jashit Pro has written that story. Yeah, yes, say Jashit Pro, what is that story? I mean, title you tell, everybody will remember.
It's a frog story, Prabhuji.
No,
Like
no, no,
narrow-minded.
not frog story. It's a Dr. Frog.
Yes,
Prabhupada calls it as a Dr. Frog. All of you know, remember that story? You recollect the
Yes,
story?
Prabhuji.
Yeah. He was thinking there is no ocean, no water body exists like that. How can it exist? So they try to calculate with their own mind. It's not correct. So that's why what we should do, Prabhupada is writing here. By following in the footsteps of pure devotees, we can know that Krishna, the Ranchorji, left the battlefield not because he was afraid, but because he had some other purpose. So that other purpose, Prabhupada is writing below. Yeah. So what is this line called as? Anybody knows? By following in the footsteps of pure devotees. What is that Sanskrit shloka for this? Anybody knows? Very famous. Prabhupada quotes many, many times. How one can understand the intricacies of dharma, all the rules and regulations, only when we follow the footsteps of the great souls. What is that line called as? There are 12 great souls. They are the authorities of dharma.
Prabhuji Mahajans.
Mahajans, correct. So what is that line? We should follow in the footsteps of these Mahajans. Anybody knows that line? Sanskrit. This shloka is spoken by Yamraj to the Yamdutas in the Ajamila section. Mahajano yena gata sa pantha. You can remember. Pantha means the path. So dharmam tu sakshat. No. Nihitam guhaya. It's a very, very confidential intricacies of dharma. That's why we find how Krishna acted. Nobody can understand. But by following these Mahajans and those who follow in the footsteps of Mahajan like Srila Prabhupada and all, they're also the great souls and great personalities. So that's why we have to always see how the devotees of the Lord they are doing. We never find any devotee of the Lord who is also running behind and we never find the devotees they're also dancing with the gopis or they're also rather in our ISKCON temple we have Mataji sitting on one side, Prabhuji should sit on other side. Not that a co-education like different things goes on. We have a boys program separately, girls program separately, because then the understanding and lessons goes in a proper fashion. So that's why it's very much important to follow what great personality has done. We follow in there. So we can take Lord Rama's example for following. But Krishna is a full-blown personality. We cannot imitate Krishna's act. So there is Anukaran, and what is other word? Anukaran means to follow in to imitate their acts.
So Anukaran and Anusaran.
Correct. Anukaran and Anusaran. Exact meaning is what? I am also getting confused. Anukaran.
What to do?
Yeah. Anukaran and Anusaran. One is to follow in their footsteps, and another is to imitate the personalities. So that's why we have to understand the great soul. Krishna's acts are not to be imitated. So anyway, good time we discuss in this lesson because this is important. Because later acts we are going to read, Krishna kidnapped Rukmini, Krishna married so many other wives and all, right? So one should not keep this as a fundamental understanding about when we read about Krishna always. Then Prabhupada writes, the purpose as it will be revealed was to attend to a confidential letter sent by Rukmini, his future first wife. Krishna's leaving the battlefield is a display of one of his 6 opulences. See? Krishna is the supreme powerful, the supreme wealthy, the supreme famous, the supreme wise, and the supreme beautiful. He is the supreme of these 6 things. Similarly, he is the supreme renouncer. Srimad Bhagavatam clearly states that he left the battlefield in spite of having ample military strength. Even without his militia, this means even if without his military, he alone would have been sufficient to defeat the army of Jarasanda, as he had done 17 times before. Right? Initially, if you read, Krishna and Balram alone were fighting with Jarasanda and his lakhs of soldiers. So it's a foolishness to consider that Krishna is a coward and running in a fear. So that's why we have to understand this is his exhibition of this opulence. Therefore, his leaving the battlefield is an example of his supermost opulence renunciation. So, yeah. Then what happened ahead? And then how Krishna and Balram, where they go and what Jarasanda does and what is that important work to attend, that we'll study in our next meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today's exit question, are you ready? Yeah. So I'll ask you, a dash always tries to measure the opulences of Krishna, whereas a dash never tries to measure his strength and opulences.
Prabhuji, demon
No,
tries
no, no,
to-
no, 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 no. Manvik Prabhu, you have to write the answers in chat. So 3 fill in the blanks you have to do. Okay. You have to write the answers in the chat. First hear the question, 3 fill in the blanks. A dash always tries to measure the opulence of Krishna, whereas a dash never tries to measure his strength and opulence. The one who never tries to measure the opulence, he always does dash to the Supreme Lord. So understood, na? 3 dash, one who tries to measure, who is he? Second, who is doesn't tries to measure. And then if he doesn't try to measure, then what he does with the Supreme Lord. That's a third fill in the blank. So please write answers. D, D, D. Yeah. It's exact words I'm looking for. Okay, 2 devotees have written almost close to answers. But still, both of you are not perfect in the one of the words. Yeah. Okay. Still little bit closer. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just read out the statement. The last answer I'm waiting for you. Okay, please write. The third fill in the blank. A dash always tries to measure the opulence of Krishna. Who tries to measure? He is a demon. Demon always tries to measure. Whereas, who never tries to measure his strength and opulence? That is a devotee. Then devotee, what he does? If he doesn't tries to measure, then what he does with the Lord? Yeah. So some of you wrote devotion. Or so correct answer is he first surrenders to him and then worships him. So these 2 words would have come: surrender and worship. So worship answer has come by one devotee, but surrender and worship. So first surrender and then worship. Okay. So these are the golden statement we should capture and remember. Thank you all very much for joining. With all of your kind active association, let us end with the Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.